status of pension schemes and the economic sustainability of them into the future. And I think finally, one thing I'm very encouraged to hear is the changes to ensure that there is greater attraction for investment from pension funds into this economy. That's something that I think we would all want to see happen. So I'd like to just welcome the Minister to the House again, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Senator. I now call Senator Jillian van Turnhout.
Thank you very much, and perhaps I could suggest to the Leader that we could extend the debate to allow all those wishing to come in at the second stage to be able to speak. Minister, you're very welcome. I'd like to begin by acknowledging. Can we get a response? Leader, to extend the debate to allow all those at the second stage to speak.
We'll agree to that.
It can't be agreed here. Can I be done by the Leader? So.
Okay, well, I put that request out. Perhaps other speakers will follow and re-request it.
Clearly, the order of business was agreed on Wednesday morning.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Can I?
It's not proposed at the moment to amend it. So
well,
you're using up your time, Senator?
Well, I'm going to start now. I welcome the Minister.
I'm sure the Chair will show her the same generosity as he gave himself.
I welcome the Minister to the House. I would like to begin by acknowledging the engagement by the civil servants in the Department of Social Protection for their helpfulness and professionalism in the lead-up to this debate. Minister, it's really with a very extreme and heavy heart and a sense of foreboding that I stand here today. Along with my colleague, Senator Spone, I'll be trying to persuade the Minister for Social Protection and you that Section 4 of this legislation should be reconsidered and should not be part of today's legislation. I know that there is a motion for Monday for early signature. There is nothing in motion to bring the Dáil back, so part of me wonders why I'm even standing here. Is this scrutiny at its best when we don't have an opportunity really to change this legislation, that there is no intention? And I do regret that this is the situation we're in. But to move to the subject matter of today, firstly on pensions, I want to flag, Minister, that at this junction I do have a few concerns regarding the state pension contributory. I recognise that there's only one element in this bill, but I've received some conflicting information about the effect of the increased number of voluntary PRSI contributions that voluntary contributors must pay to be entitled to a full contributory state pension. I will be looking for additional information and clarification so that we can iron this out at committee stage. But I do think there needs to be a more proactive approach on the part of the Minister to provide public information about these changes. There is confusion out there among older people, and I think if we could clarify it using this debate, it would be useful. I want to focus my attention on the one-parent family payment. I've made it clear since the publication of the bill, since the announcements in the budget, that I will be opposing the Section 4. I recognise the acknowledgement by the Minister that lone parents should not lose the one family payment when their youngest child reaches the age of 7 unless a comprehensive system of Scandinavian-style childcare is in place. For far too many years, Minister, we had the sort of concept of childcare provision in this country that looked at the status of the parent, and it was all focused on getting mothers back into the workplace, so therefore we provide childcare. With the introduction of the free preschool year, it actually changed the focus to the child. It was about providing childcare for children, irregardless of the status of the parent, irregardless of the financial circumstances of the family. This means that childcare is provided equally to all children. We have mixed. It's a really good way to start. I believe that these proposals will rebalance us back to that old style of childcare provision. To be frank, I cannot believe we're debating a measure that is so regressive, so counterproductive, and actually detrimental to the well-being of children of lone parents. Minister, you noted the Minister for Social Protection noted yesterday's ERSI report, and just to read the first line of the Irish Times article by Paul Cullen today: children are bearing the brunt of the recession, with close to a third affected by some form of deprivation, according to this new ERSI report. As we led into this debate, I've been appalled by some of the arguments I heard about lone parents, particularly that they choose to be lone parents. At the end of 2012, there was 90,000 people in receipt of the one-parent family payment. More than 90,000 people, the vast majority women, did not choose to belong to a family unit group in Irish society most at risk of poverty. Firstly, the contention is not only deeply insulting to those who become lone parents, having left dysfunctional and unhealthy relationships, or who have been deserted by their partners, or who have been bereaved. It is also dangerous, as I believe it feeds into a notion that lone parents are legitimate or a worthy target of welfare cuts. Secondly, I think it incorrectly focuses the debate on the adult, when it is the impact on the estimated 149,000 children of lone parents that is of critical concern. Charles Dickens said it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, it was an age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. And for me this is partly, I feel, this week, because we've had a brilliant week for children's rights. A really excellent week. In the last weeks we've had the ending of detention of children in St Patrick's Institution will come in place next Tuesday. The Children First guidance on a statutory footing, heads of bill, have been produced. With legislation on withholding of information of crimes against children. Really great strides. The rhetoric of the past has been overturned. And yet, on the other hand, we're looking at a social welfare amendment that has the potential to deny children their most basic needs, including food, clothing and shelter. One-parent families are the unit group in Irish society most at risk of poverty. Children in one-parent families are poorer than other children. This is not speculation. This is a fact. We've been told this repeatedly by the OECD, the CSO, the RSI and several NGOs working directly with children. When I spoke back in December last year in opposition to the cuts in child benefit, I spoke at length about the cumulative impact of successive cuts in successive budgets on vulnerable families. I stressed that any hardship felt within a family is most acutely felt by children. The concerns I raised then were not new. They were concerns that have been repeatedly raised.
Senator.
No problem. They were concerns repeatedly raised in the context of budgetary measures, not only domestically but also by international observers. Just take, for example, Magdalena Sepulveda, the United Nations independent expert on the question of human rights and extreme poverty. And she visited Ireland here on mission in January 2011, and she said, and I quote, "Children continue to be the group most at risk of poverty in Ireland, with families, in particular single-parent families, struggling to ensure food, appropriate housing, heating and decent winter clothing. The substantial cuts in child payments in recent budgets are of particular concern as they exacerbate the situation of children and lead to an increase in child poverty rates, which are already worryingly high. This would represent a major backward step for children's rights in Ireland," she said. I find it really difficult to reconcile these policy decisions. Why not remove Section 4 and bring it back when we're ready to put in place the supports outlined by the Minister? We all want better outcomes for lone parents. Why such haste?
Thank you, Senator. Our next speaker is Senator Colin Burke, and I understand you're going to share your time with Senator Brennan. Is that agreed?
Yes, that's great.